Good evening, guys. Welcome to episode 6 of the Midweek Mixup podcast. Tonight, there's just only the three of us, but we may as well start it off well. So, of course, we have, and joining us from Den Haag, first of all, Patjeuh. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah. So.
What you been up to? Any games specifically? I mean, obviously PUBG, but anything else you've been playing?
No, not this time.
No, just PUBG.
No, just PUBG. Yeah, I didn't play anything else. So it wasn't that. I don't know. I don't really had the feeling to play something else. So.
Yeah, just addicted to PUBG.
Yeah, man. It is. So yeah.
Happy days.
But also been busy on work, so yeah, I didn't have that much time to play games.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Don't worry. I managed to get a bit of streaming done myself yesterday. Obviously, a bit of PUBG with you. Yeah, a bit of PUBG, a bit of Forza, a bit of FIFA, a bit of Yakuza 0. I do not like that game at all. That is not my kind of game.
Yeah, I played the first one as well when it came on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I played it like for maybe an hour, and no, it wasn't my game.
Yeah. It's a bit strange. Well, to be fair, the first 45 minutes was me watching a cutscene, really. The entire thing's just a cutscene at the beginning. You just feel like you're not touching the controller. It's a bit of a strange one. And then I finished off with a bit of Bulletstorm. Obviously, everyone likes that. Again, thanks to Marion for getting me Forza 7 and Bulletstorm as gifts the other day out of the blue. So it's kind of him, didn't need to do it. But thanks for that. Shom, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Unlike Pat, I've been playing quite a few games this week. Bulletstorm. Although I got the Duke
Nukem one.
He's annoying. I found him really annoying. I ended up switching him back. I know that'll probably upset a lot of Duke Nukem fans, but yeah, he's kind of like he's not this era anymore. He's kind of funny for a bit, and then it's just like by the time you got off the spaceship, I was like, right, quit, go back to the normal one. It's just annoying. I started and completed Mortal Shell.
All right. How did you find it? Started and completed?
I finished it this morning.
How long did it take you?
Let's have a look.
I haven't even. Was that on? That is on Xbox, yeah.
Yeah. Does it tell me my progress?
I can't even remember. I literally can't even remember seeing you online playing that. So it mustn't have took you too long.
Oh, I don't have any stats for it. When did I start it? My first achievement, there we go, was the 23rd. So it took me best part of 3 days on and off.
3 days.
3 days on and off. But again, it was quicker than I thought. I reckon about 12 hours, maybe a little bit more.
Right. It looked very Dark Souls-esque.
Oh yeah, no, it is. But I think it's a lot easier than Dark Souls. A lot easier.
All right.
The first part is when you first start. It's hard. The first part is hard. I died so many times, but then once I upgraded my sword and then got the shell that I wanted and upgraded him, I could pretty much cheese most enemies. I'd figured out a way of cheesing it.
Right.
So it wasn't that hard in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good game. It is a good game. I'll probably go back through and do a new game plus and get a couple of achievements that I missed. But yeah, enjoyable game. I went to try and I was on a roll and I tried Sekiro and got battered. So I was like, yep, it's a little bit easy in Sekiro. Sekiro is a little bit out of my league. What else have I been playing? Apex. I got a couple of wins this afternoon on Apex Duos. Gave Battletoads a go. I've not finished that too much, although it's kind of like on my own, it's a bit boring.
All right.
It's okay. It's half decent game. I don't think it's as good for me. I know other people disagree, but for me, it's not as good as Streets of Rage 4. Even Streets of Rage 4 solo.
Yeah, it is fun though. I have again wish it was online co-op. That's the only drawback I have.
Yeah, if it'd been online co-op, I probably would have had a giggle with it because you've got your mates. So yeah, you've always got that thing. But sitting on your own doing a button basher, does get a little bit boring. Rogue Company. I did Darksiders with you for a bit before I had to go. PUBG and Destiny. Only a little bit of Destiny because I've only just downloaded it. I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on because so much has been added since I first played
it. Did you play PUBG?
I did. I got 1 win.
All right, nice.
Play a solo game?
No, I was playing with a streamer friend of mine.
Ah, sweet.
So
yeah, we didn't do that well the other night, as you might have seen.
Guys.
we did terrible.
Let's forget about yesterday, okay? Let's
start fresh.
But other than that, I've been having a look at the new dashboard, but we'll probably touch on that later on in the podcast.
Yeah, I haven't got the new dashboard yet. I haven't had the update, surprisingly. I thought I had.
It's nice. It is nice.
Oh, okay.
I haven't, to be fair, I haven't. I don't. Oh, wait. I might have. I don't know.
You'll be able to tell if you go to notifications.
Yes.
Let me
notifications at the bottom.
No.
It should look a little bit like that. The edges. Look for the edges that are rounded.
No, I don't have that yet.
If you got rounded edges, you've got the new dashboard.
Right.
I'm going to check it out right now.
Not yet. Let's see if I've got any updates.
Are you in the alpha program?
I am, yeah.
I think I am.
Last update was apparently today.
Oh. Although sadly, it's not got the dynamic backgrounds, which I was hoping to have a demo of yet.
Yeah, that's rolling out soon.
That might not come until the new system anyway.
I mean, eventually, well, that's one thing from PlayStation I really wanted and liked was the dynamic backgrounds. Like, actually, if you haven't seen those before, like God of War, I've got Ghost of Tsushima on mine at the moment on the PlayStation.
I've got The Last of Us 2, the Ellie one. You know, when she's in the.
And it's like basically the background moves, and there's like music playing specific to it, and all of the icons change specific to the game.
Oh, really?
It's like an interactive background to a point.
That's pretty nice.
That's really good. It's a really good idea. Really good idea by Sony.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're eventually bringing it over to Xbox because that's one of the things. If they said, "Do you want anything from PlayStation?" I would have been like, "Yeah, they're back with the dynamic themes. They're brilliant." And again, it's a nice little add-on because you can do dynamic themes specific with collector's edition games or deluxe games and things like that, like PlayStation do.
Oh, they do a lot of pre-order
dynamic themes with the big games, pre-orders and things like that. So. But yeah, I'm glad they're coming over. I know they've got Halo as a dynamic theme. I'm pretty much sure they've got Gears of War. I think they've got Forza. Kind of all the key titles have got dynamic themes coming out, so that'll be good. So I'm looking forward to that. I think before we start on the kind of main topic for this week, we'll cover some of the news we've had over the last week, and there's been quite a few bits, to be fair. I think we'll cover off some of the PlayStation news. Sean, I think you've got it right in front of you there. We may as well cover it. We've had kind of one of the rough release prices of potentially what PlayStation 5 could cost, which would give us a good idea as to where Microsoft's going to play the ball.
Yeah, so, take it with a boulder of salt.
Yes, massive boulder of salt at the moment, I think. But if you want to just cover over what the pricing kind of structure is so far, kind of get a good idea.
So the Blu-ray edition is $499 US. So that equates to £449 UK pounds and €499 Euro. And it's supposed to be a global release on the 20th of November, but a Japanese release on the 14th of November. So the Japanese get it 6 days before.
6 days earlier. I'm not sure about it, but again, it's PlayStation. They always do things Japan first.
But I mean, when is the 14th of November? The 14th and the 20th. Because I think I saw somebody say that landed like on a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, yeah.
It's a Saturday, which is an odd.
And the 20th is a Friday, so that's
a Friday, so that makes sense. But maybe Saturday thingy for Japan is a normal thing. You know, like we have the Tuesday, Friday thing.
Might be doing it in Japan specifically for. I mean, it would make more sense for people working to be able to get as many people as possible to go to shops. I mean, I don't understand why they don't do that worldwide.
Well, Fridays people go after work, and then they got the weekend rather than having to go out on the weekend to get it.
Yeah,
I get that. But anyway, that's the Blu-ray. I'm Jonathan Wass. The digital version is just 100 less on each one, so $399, $349, $399. Same. Yeah. $60 for a controller, which I think that's about roughly what it is now, isn't it?
That's kind of what we expect. Yeah, about $59.60.
I did hear rumors it was going to be like 70 or 80, which I wouldn't have been too happy with. But yeah, $60, 59, 54 quid or 59. Well, the euros and the dollars are exactly the same, so I'll skip out the EU again. Charging station, $30 and 25 quid. Camera, $60 and 55 quid. Pulse headset. Oh, is that the new headphone thing?
The new Kraken headset, whatever it's called. Right? Tempest. That's the one.
These are a pretty penny. $159 or 129 quid. A remote control, $30 or 25 quid for the TV control.
25 quid for a controller.
For a controller, yeah.
Jesus, wet. That's a TV remote for 25 quid. TV remote.
Well, it is another one. It is another one. The stand, the vertical stand, if you want to put it upright, $25 or 17 quid for a piece of plastic to hold your.
See, that's about normal. The Xbox One X stands, I think, about a tenner for a bit of plastic.
I'll be going third party for that if I get one.
But if you get, to be fair, if you get them on release anyway, like most of the consoles do, the release and launch editions always come with them. Yeah,
the Scorpio edition came with a stand. Buy one doesn't. And then the Miles Morales is $40 or 30 quid. So that kind of says it's a smaller game. It's not a full price game. So everyone who
that would be one thing to offset the kickback, I suppose, from people. If they're kind of saying, it's not like a big game. It is just kind of an offshoot game.
Yeah, exactly. It's I mean, a lot of people saying it's a full game. It's not, but it's not a DLC. It's it's an
infamous second son.
Yeah. It's that one that's kind of in the middle where it's too big to be a DLC and it's standalone, but it's not big enough to be a full game. So whatever hours it is, I'm not going to be one of those ones debating that. But yeah, the lower price suggests it's going to be a smaller game in comparison to the original. Yeah,
most definitely. The other kind of PlayStation news we've got on the back of that surrounds two certain things. Of course, we've got Gamescom coming up from tomorrow onwards, so we'll be kind of tuning in and getting notes on that over the next few days. We know Xbox is going to be there, so obviously over the next few days, we don't know what is going to be shown, but we know there's something from Xbox.
That'd be good.
Yeah, but they've been relatively quiet on this, whereas PlayStation are very much forward and saying, all right, this is what we're going to be showing off at Gamescom, and it's going to be on opening night live. But we don't know whether or not they're going to show anything else because they're not down on the list of being actively part of Gamescom this year, which is a bit of a strange one. Xbox are actively part of Digital Gamescom this year. So we know they're going to be there in a bit more of a presence than Sony. But what Sony are showing off tomorrow is a little bit more of a larger look at Ratchet and Clank. However, they have also stipulated that's going to be the same demo that we've seen, but uncut. I don't know what uncut's meant to mean.
I thought it was quite uncut, the first one they showed. There didn't seem to be...
It felt like it's uncut, but that, to me, kind of alludes to the fact that that wasn't a real-time showcase of the game.
Do you think the loading might be a little bit longer, that they've shortened down loading seconds?
And maybe that was more of a... Because I don't think that, yes, the video was played certainly on the PlayStation 5, and that's easy enough to do if you've got something pre-baked in. But if it's physically someone playing the game, maybe the jumps between worlds might be longer, or the time in each world is longer, as opposed to just jumping quickly and then jumping quickly.
Yeah, maybe they'll show you more of the world rather than
So you might get a little bit more of a view of each world that they're going into and what's happening there, or something along those lines. We'll have to wait and see. And then the last bit of news, I suppose, there wasn't really much in terms of PlayStation from that, to be fair, apart from things we've already seen. But the last bit of news that we had, I think it was maybe last week, was the news that what was formerly, and this is a bit of a strange one, a PlayStation exclusive, Martha is Dead, started off in development for PS5 specifically and PC, has now completely flopped on the opposite direction and is now a Xbox Series X console launch exclusive and PC and not PlayStation 5. Now, that one's really strange because it dates back all the way to March, where the developers were speaking about developing for the PlayStation 5 and PC and when it's going to be roughly launching. Now we've had the trailer for Xbox Series X and PC only, which is a very strange one. What do you guys make on that? It's definitely, we haven't really seen it, and I don't think I've seen it before where a game is specifically meant to be coming out for PlayStation 5 and then changed and flip-flopped over to the Series X.
It's weird. It's pretty weird. Like you said, it's never happened before. I've never heard of this. Like, first it's a PlayStation exclusive, and then all of a sudden they change it to an Xbox Series X exclusive game. Yeah, I don't know what to make out of that. What's the decision that they made for doing this? You know, it's pretty weird. I've never heard it or never seen it before. So that's, I don't know. I hope they will explain it later, like why they did this.
Yeah, it's again, I want to hear what it is that's. It's so strange, though. I've never seen a developer change platforms mid-development.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, it's easier now because they're both on roughly the same kind of hardware spec, should we say, but also on the same kind of architecture. They're both on x86. So it'd be much easier now to transfer games' core files on one to another. But as we both found out the other day, and this obviously doesn't just boil down to just controllers with their security measures, but in terms of actual platform security measures, getting all of the files transferred from one to another must have its drawbacks. Can't imagine. I mean, this is the game here. It's a bit of again another horror, but it's four. We now have 4 games coming to the Series X, 4 horror games specifically. So they're definitely pushing more of a. This is definitely not a children's game by any stretch of the imagination. You're peeling people's faces off.
I think in your little title thing, you need to stick an M for mature in there, just.
I've just never experienced it. Sean, what do you make of it?
I'm like you. I don't know at all, unless the devs actually come out and explain why, which I highly doubt they will. It could be anything. It could be a case of that they wanted to do something and the PlayStation couldn't do it and the Xbox could, or it could be down to they've had a fundamental disagreement with PlayStation and they've gone, right, I'm having my ball back. What do Xbox think? It could be anything. It's going to be near impossible to figure out or even guess. I've not, like I said, I wasn't even completely aware until 10-15 minutes before the podcast, because I assumed what I'd heard was just a case that what was it that I heard now? That the devs had spoken about the dev kit for the PlayStation 5, but they never actually confirmed it coming to PlayStation 5, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then I've put in the comments two links from the same website about the two different things. So I'm guessing it is true that it was coming out of the PlayStation 5 first, and then it's flopped over to the Xbox. Again, I don't know. It could be anything. And maybe it's a case of Xbox has gone, actually, no, here's a bit of cash.
Yeah.
You don't know. You really don't know.
It's just, I've just never seen, again, it's the first time I think I've seen ever where a game was originally publicly meant to be coming out for one platform, and then when they've actually shown the game off, it's not been on that platform at all. It's been on the opposite one, and it tends to now be exclusive for the opposite one, which is very strange, very backwards. Of course, on the back of that, we then had more kind of news. Again, I think that's wound a few people up, and obviously there's quite a few people, even if you haven't looked on social media now, that are kind of running with it. Is the Black Ops news. Now, they're not going to be looking very favourable on a few people at the minute. They've decided to release, well, 3 editions. We'll ignore the last Ultimate Edition one because, of course, that's for hardcore COD players only. They get everything regardless. But the 2 standard editions, you've got the bog standard COD Cold War, and then you've got COD Cold War Next Gen Edition, essentially.
Okay.
So essentially what they're saying is if you're buying the standard edition on, not just the price, but if you're just buying the standard edition on Xbox One or PlayStation 4 now when it comes out, and then you get a Series X or a PlayStation 5 going down the line, that game will not get the upgrades going forward. You will be able to play it on your PlayStation 5, you'll be able to play it on Series X, but you won't get the patches that come with it. If you want the game to have those enhancements, you need to buy the cross-gen bundle, which is an additional £10 on top. So it will be more for the next-gen version. They're charging an extra 10 to have those enhancements. So you won't get, if you own the game already, essentially to get, if you've just got the standard edition, not the cross-gen edition for 70, you will only be able to play the standard edition on Series X and PlayStation 5. You won't be able to use the upgrades or have those shiny new features. It means essentially you'd then have to buy the game again.
They haven't said anything about the cost of the next-gen version, as in if it's standalone. If you were like, now there's no point. I'm not going to buy COD for the Xbox One. I'll wait and get it when I get the Series X. I usually wait to see with COD whether or not it's good first, and you can tell by the crowd reaction. We had that problem with the previous COD. Like Modern Warfare is really good, but you have a look at the previous one, and it was like such a mixed bag. Like, people were like, "Nah, we'll just leave it."
Yeah.
But I reckon they're gonna charge the cross-gen bundle price for next gen regardless. I think they're gonna charge £70.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe, but you'd probably be able to purchase separately the cross-gen patch on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5. I'd imagine they'd do that as some kind of series thing where you'd be able to purchase it separately, but probably charge something like 20 for it.
No, because what I think is instead of the standard edition being $60 for the Series X, I think the standard edition is going to be 70.
Oh, so really?
I think they're going to charge you that cross-gen bundle price as your standard edition. I think that's Activision snidiness for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I completely agree.
Because otherwise, most people are like, well, if the Xbox comes out or the PlayStation comes out a week later, I'll wait a week, save yourself £10.
Yeah. That's just, again, typical Activision.
Yeah.
Everybody else seems to be going, right, okay, we'll give you the free upgrade. It's just an additional couple of features. I mean, imagine if PC did that. So you can only unlock ultra settings if you pay with an additional 10.
Nightmare. And it should ask me $10 to unlock better frame rate.
Yeah, Imagine if they did that on PC. Be an absolute uproar. Yeah, it's an extra £10 if you want ultra settings, by the way. No, locked.
But, talking about the new Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Earlier before the stream, I watched a streamer on Twitch, Tim the Tatman, and he was actually playing Warzone, but now it was different. Like they need to complete objects, they need to do 4 objects, and after that you have the big stadium, right, on the map.
Yeah.
People needed to go when they completed the objects, they needed to go to the stadium and stay there, and they will get some kind of message. And all of a sudden, a trailer starts, and it was actually a trailer of Cold War. It was pretty nice how they managed to do this. Like first playing a game, then start a trailer.
Oh, right, okay. In game.
Yeah, in game. They were hearing music coming from the stadium as well, and all of a sudden, when the trailer started, they were dropped back somewhere in the map, and they needed to run towards the stadium. And when they entered the stadium, they showed a full clip of Cold War. It looked pretty nice. I think it could be on YouTube already.
Yeah,
maybe it's a bit like one of them Fortnite events.
I had a quick go before the stream. So you basically land, and you've got to find 5 map pieces, which will then give you one of the bunkers. You then need to find something within a bunker, and I'm guessing it's all the same place because when I turned up, there was loads of people there, and I was on my own trying to sneak through. And then you had to crack a code, which I didn't. I ran out of time. And it put me on the edge of the map with the gas coming in. I had to get to the stadium, and I didn't make it in time because I was just so far away, and I didn't have the transport. But yeah, then once you die, it started showing me the trailer that Pat was just talking about, and then at the end it gives you the release date of November the 13th.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, those live events in games seem pretty cool. It's obviously worked very well for Fortnite. I don't think we'll touch on the Fortnite subject at the minute. They're going through enough battles as they are with Apple right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 sides to that coin. Of course, with the release of Fortnite on iPhone and Apple devices, etc., Epic have intentionally told people to go elsewhere to buy V-Bucks because they're cheaper than buying it through Apple.
It was 30% cheaper, wasn't it? It was negating the 30% that Apple took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So essentially, then avoiding paying Apple any money. So Apple have rightly. So there's 2 parts to this. Apple have rightly said, no, you can't do that. You're breaking your contract of using the store. The purpose of using the store is that part of your income then comes to us, which is why you're on the store in the first place. The second part of the discussion and part of the issue is that they were then threatening Fortnite or Epic to completely remove all of the Unreal Engine for any developers across the board on Apple. Just remove it so no one can use it. So the High Court ruling anyway the other day, and this is still going on. But essentially they've agreed with Apple on the sense that Epic need to use their store and pay them money if they want to use their store. But I've also then agreed with Epic on the side saying, no, you can't refuse people to use a development tool that is widely used worldwide. That's essentially just cutting everybody else off for one big company. Epic aren't profiting from the actual use of the Unreal Engine outside of charging the developers for that platform. They're not profiting from anybody else using that platform on Apple. So essentially the court just said, no, we're not going to, you're going to have to leave Unreal Engine alone. But yes, Fortnite can remain banned whilst you figure out this 30% negation that I've kind of tried to get away with and go outside of it. So I think that's still, it's not until September until that gets resolved. Going back in for a big high court battle about that one, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. Microsoft backed them up, but I think they must have backed them up specifically not to do with avoiding fees. I think they've backed them up on the sense of not having Unreal Engine restricted for developers.
Yeah,
that would have been low ball. Been absolutely no need for that. That was more spitting dummies out and two big companies essentially having to go at each other. Two big greedy companies, should we say? Because Epic is greedy at the best of times, but Apple's even worse. Apple's even worse. But that essentially covers the basic news anyway for this week. We will now get into the main talking points for this week's episode, and that is our most anticipated list. Now, Erwin, as you can probably tell, is not here tonight. He's feeling a bit unwell. So what he has done, however, is send me across his list, his most anticipated, and why. Now, he has sent more than 3, but only because 2 of them are very similar. So we'll go through them. So this was a kind of a last one. If we go through it first, I'll just open this up. His first choice, of course, is Hellblade. Hellblade 2. Of course, that's one of the most anticipated for anybody. But again, Hellblade 2, unbelievably said it's an unbelievably talented studio. Loved Hellblade 1. So he's this goes on to his most anticipated based on the first run alone. Of course, we haven't seen enough of Hellblade 2 yet, but based on their talent, I think we're both confident in the fact that they'll do a really good job with this one. What are your guys' thoughts on Hellblade 2 so far?
I'd like to see gameplay. I mean, the trailer, the in-game thing looks amazing, but I still want the gameplay. Even if it's her walking through a field, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I understand why it's not.
Exactly.
With the virus and stuff, it's a little bit hard to do motion capture and whatnot. So
yeah,
No.
a little bit.
I agree with Sean. So
Yeah, definitely. It's again, we would love to see more, but unfortunately, due to what's been happening recently, it's a bit more difficult to kind of shout about it. I think this one's potentially looking to be a 2021 launch date, maybe later. They're saying it's been built on Unreal Engine 5. So I think we'll probably end up seeing it maybe close to Q4 2021, so the tail end. If not, looking into maybe a mid-2022, tail end of 22 release date. I don't think it's going to be relatively soon unless they get to grips with Unreal Engine 5 pretty quickly.
Well, they're doing 4 at the moment. They're building in 4, then they can upgrade it once it comes out.
Yeah, and then refining it on 4.
So it should be all right.
Yeah. Should be very good. Let's go. Now we're going on to his next choice. GT7. Of course, he's going to choose GT7. Now, of course, we're not the biggest of sim racing fans. We both love our Forzas and Horizons and things like that. But myself, Patjeuh, Shom, I think we're probably safe to say if we're going to race, it's probably going to be Horizon over a sim racer. They're a bit more relaxed. You can have a bit more fun. But of course, we know Erwin's, as much as he loves Horizon, he's definitely a sim racer. His choice for GT7 was it's turning back to Gran Turismo's roots after an amazing GT sport. This looks very promising. Looks great, 4K 60 with ray tracing, even though it's checkerboarded, dynamic weather. Probably be amazing on the wheel as well. So he's looking forward to kind of seeing what this feels like on the wheel. For me, I have literally only just got GT Sport, so I could not tell you what it feels like to drive or use or anything like that. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look here. We'll just skip forward a little bit. Does it go into gameplay? Yes, it does. See a little bit more of the gameplay here for it. Again, it certainly looked like it needed a little bit more refinement when we're seeing it. I don't know about you. Obviously, there was a lot of popping and things like that. But the game is certainly at least a few months out, if not next year.
I was going to say, it's not launch, is it?
No, it's not a launch title. So we'll have to wait and see what this looks like when it does launch. It no doubt will look amazing. The one thing you have to kind of stress, especially on YouTube, that goes for any game that you see on YouTube. One thing specifically going into the next generation that you have to keep in mind is YouTube does not translate HDR. You will not see HDR on YouTube, so therefore colors won't be represented correctly as they're meant to be represented. And with it being a buffered stream, unless you've got the best stream in the world, it is still a condensed version of the 4K. So it might say 4K 60 on YouTube, but it's certainly not going to be that native 4K picture you're going to see on your screen when you're playing it. So I know from playing a few games, they don't look anywhere near as good as they do when you're playing them natively. So I think that's going to look really good when you're actually playing it on the PlayStation 5. His next game, of course, we didn't see any of this because it's in early development, but it is a trailer. Is Forza Motorsport. Of course, it's not Forza Motorsport 8. It is just Forza Motorsport. It's completely revamping the franchise from scratch, starting again, rebuilding it from the ground up. Again, still on the Forza engine, but I think they've refined it quite a bit since the last one. It has been some years since the last Forza Motorsport's been out, actually. When was Forza 7 released? If we have a go back, Forza 7 was released 3 years ago so far. I think by the time it's released, it will be, it's been a few years, so it's probably going to be 21, 22, so it'll be 5 years from the previous one to this one, so it's quite a length.
Yeah.
Especially for a racing game.
Yeah.
But again, he said they lost the way a bit after Forza 5. So he's looking to see whether or not they can get back to their roots and do well on this next one. Last but not least, and this has been on a few people's lists, of course, Halo Infinite. We have had gameplay, and this has unfortunately, but fortunately, in my opinion, been delayed. And I think a lot of people's opinions, it was delayed for the right reasons. They wanted this to come out looking the best it could. It got a lot of kickback saying that the textures weren't up to scratch. The gameplay was good. There was no complaints on the actual gameplay itself. It was just the fidelity of the game, the pop-in, the resolution. There was no ray tracing at launch. The HDR wasn't implemented on here. Essentially, it was kind of not so much a half-baked, but for a game that's 500 million and to be in development for the best part of 5 years already, to come out looking like that, it certainly needed more polish. But we're certainly looking forward to it. I think everybody's looking forward to that. We'll jump now into Shom's first pick, the medium.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what's getting you so interested about this one?
I'm just quite interested in the dual worlds part of it. For the dev, they did a Layer of Fear, I think, and I wasn't overly impressed with that game.
Same.
It just, for whatever reason, it didn't grab me. It wasn't a bad game. It just, for me, I was just like, I played a little bit, and it seemed like a bit of a 360 game.
Yeah.
So when I heard it was them, I was like, not too sure when I first saw it, but having seen a bit of the gameplay that they did in the Xbox show, it's kind of piqued my interest. Especially having the dual worlds at the same time, being able to do two things at the same time, and I'm guessing there'll be bits where you have to unlock a door, so it unlocks the door in the other world, that kind of thing, I'm guessing. But yeah, I think it's an interesting concept, rather than just kind of being able to ratchet and clank it between worlds, flick between worlds, actually having them parallel. I think it's quite cool, and I want to see what comes of it, especially it being Game Pass, which is even better.
Oh yeah,
because if I don't like it, if I'm like, it's just a gimmicky, it's rubbish, it's not cost me a penny.
Yeah.
So
yeah. One thing I want to see from the medium is whether or not you're able to fight back, unlike in Layers of Fear. If you played Layers of Fear, you know that is essentially just a walking simulator, and you pick up a few puzzle pieces. But no matter what you do, when you don't ever actually die, you just wake up again. So there is no consequence to your actions in Layers of Fear. This looks like is potentially consequence to action. So I want to see what the combat's like in the game, if there's combat.
Yeah.
But again, very, very hyped for that one. I can't wait to play that one. Next on your list, that's after this advert, is Horizon Forbidden West.
Forbidden West, okay.
Yes.
I really enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn. For some weird reason, a lot of people, mainly Xbox players, were saying it's boring, it's this, it's that. For me, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting story, a good concept. Being able to fight mechanical dinosaurs is amazing. And I probably need to go back through it because I kind of forgotten the ending. I did finish it, but I kind of roughly know what the main points of the story were, but I've kind of forgotten at the same time because I'm
guilty of that as well. I jumped in and out of that game so many times that I've forgotten what the actual main point of that story was.
Well, I got my PlayStation for this. I got because I wanted to play some of the exclusives, but I got a Pro for this and Uncharted 4. So I rented it, and then I got Uncharted 4 with the console itself. So I can probably pick it up pretty cheap now as well.
You can get me Horizon Zero Dawn Ultimate Edition with the Frozen Wilds is like £15 now. So the Ultimate Edition with expansion. So it's not expensive at all. It's worth 15. It's worth every penny of £15.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to see, and I want to remember what happened at the end of the first one. Play the DLC because I didn't play that because it wasn't out when I got it, and see where adventures go. Because I actually thought she was a decent character. I don't know what people were moaning about with it.
I didn't have any problems with Aloy. Aloy was a good character. I had the only problem I had was some of the characters that she meets. Like some of the outside of the two main ones, which is the guy that speaks to her all the time over the headset and kind of assists her through her missions and whatnot. Outside of them two main characters, which are highly detailed and put a lot of effort into them, the other characters were very forgettable.
Well, they've got.
She forgets all of her friends at the beginning. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't played it, but she forgets her friends after that event happens. She forgets her father after that. That doesn't come back into it again, like later on in the game. Even though the whole beginning part of the game is about her and her father and learning things and whatnot. That all goes by the wayside, and then kind of all of her past just disappears, and it's like nothing happened.
Got Lance Reddick in it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
He's one of the elders of another tribe, if I can remember rightly. In fact, he's in the trailer. Actually, he's in this at some point.
I think he's at the. Was he not a little bit earlier on? Was he on after this?
Maybe. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a decent game. It was a really good looking game as well.
Oh, it's unbelievably unbelievably good looking game.
Even on the standard PlayStation, it was a good looking game. So again, haters are going to hate. Your Xbox side fanatics are going to play down everything about it, but it's a solid game. It's a really good game.
Oh,
if you haven't played it, definitely advise buying it.
100%.
Especially now it's cheap. Yeah.
The last game, and again, this is very, very recent. This was shown off, but it took everyone by surprise. Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was like the Nats General out of Raiders of the Lost. No, not Raiders of the Lost Ark. Last Crusade. When he takes a sip from the wrong cup and he just face melts. This looks amazing. If this is true to life, I know they always go alpha footage, might not, blah blah blah.
Did you not see the gameplay that I put in the chat?
No, but I've seen the 13-minute gameplay.
No, so essentially I posted the video in the Twitter conversation. I also put it on Twitter before. The dev was sitting and playing. You could see him actually playing the game like it looks there on a normal TV, sitting on a couch with a Xbox Elite controller.
Yeah, but my worry with that, I did see that picture. I didn't see the but it could always be a playable vertical slice.
Yeah, of course, it's definitely a vertical slice. The good thing about this is if you haven't seen the what the dev was saying after this was shown off, it was quite amusing. Usually you see devs kind of praising or thanking everybody for praising the game and things like that. He did the opposite. So the dev actually came out and said, listen, this isn't like our best. This isn't the best it looks. I'm sorry, there was like a few frame stutters here and like the graphics weren't the best here. And I could notice a few issues with the artwork and things here and there. And he was pointing out all the flaws in the demo and saying, sorry, this isn't the best we can do.
That's very much Chinese culture.
Yeah.
If it's just basically because it's not perfect. We apologize.
I've noticed the funniest thing I've heard about that is the trains being early. I've seen, and this was a couple of years back. I seen something, and this was on the news as well. Chinese train officials apologized for a train leaving the station 5 seconds earlier than planned. They sent out an actual notification. Everybody saying, "We are so sorry, but we've left 5 seconds early. It won't happen again." I was like,
I mean, outside the political spectrum of China, Chinese culture and Chinese people are amazing. When I was there, I really did love it. People were always like going out of their way to help you. Like you don't get that here. You know, in a shop, you ask for something, they lead you all the way there, and they kind of told me which ones were the best. It's kind of like, that's cheaper, but I wouldn't go for it because of this. But I wouldn't get the expensive one either because that's not really worth the money. I go for this one. And this is the person in the shop doing it. So, it's just, I think it's very much a cultural thing why they apologize. But getting past that, if this game even looks anything like what we're seeing on screen, I will be well chuffed. This looks really
100%.
When people are going on about next-gen gaming, this is what the kind of thing people imagined.
And they haven't. I mean, this is still this. They said it's at least a year or two out from release.
And again, it's Uncharted thingy Engine 4.
Yeah, Unreal Engine 4. So they haven't even ported it to 5 yet.
Exactly.
I mean, if they've got access to Unreal Engine 5 and start putting Lumen technology and ray tracing and things in it as well, that is going to be insane.
Yeah, definitely.
The way they've got the particle effects on this anyway is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look at that.
Normally I wouldn't.
Go on.
Normally I wouldn't like play this kind of games, with all the big monsters and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But seeing this, like you said, a few days ago, it's really amazing. Like the effects, everything. It's really, really good. And this is definitely a game I want to play for sure.
Yeah, and if you think it's their first premium game, they're used to doing mobile games.
Yeah.
So are you serious?
Yeah. So basically, the Chinese studio is called GoesseN Studios, and it's based in 2 cities, Hangzhou and Shenzhen. Shenzhen is the city that's right next to Hong Kong, and it's where whenever you see "Made in China," the chances are it's made in that city on your products, especially your electronics. So it's got a big electronic background.
Ah,
The lead devs, the owners and stuff, former Tencent devs.
Yeah,
But you
I've
do
seen
have
that.
you've got some. It's not just a couple of people gone, "Oh, should we make a studio?" Yeah, all right. You've got some proper talent forming that studio. And if you can't tell, it's based on the Monkey King and the Journey to the West legend, which is when you look at it, what is it? Is it Odyssey? Andy Serkis?
Yes.
Same legend, basically. And it's a very famous, very very popular thing for them to go down, especially in China. Everybody knows this saga, and hopefully it'll be an amazing game.
It's it's essentially this is if you go back into it, this is and everybody knows Dragon Ball, but this is essentially the saga that created Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of the backstory. This is where Dragon Ball all originated from. Was Black Myth Wukong. So that's why you see like the Monkey King with his big tail and things like that, who can transform into different people and go ballistic. But I mean, if you have a look, I don't know whether or not you've seen the extended gameplay as well of it, but the extended, it just gets even crazier. Like when you see different maps, it's not just this one area as well.
I've only seen the 13-minute one, so whatever one that is.
Was that the one that showed off where you can see him fighting a bit like Dynasty Warriors, but in the clouds? And there's like hundreds
I'm not sure actually. The one I saw is he was fighting a boss, and I think the YouTuber I watched it, Young Gay. I watched his kind of commentary of it, and the stuff that he noticed, like he set fire to one of the bosses, and you could see like the hair singeing on the boss. Individual strands.
That's this bit here. Yeah, that's this bit here.
Yeah. So he gets lit on fire, and you can see him kind of putting out the individual hairs that are on fire, which is just the attention to detail is amazing.
That's absolutely insane. I don't like, and it's not, even if you look into it a little bit further, and this is another thing I kind of picked up on, is if you watch him when he's walking across these cobbled stones, he actually walks across the cobbled stones correctly.
Right, he just a flat thing. It's
not just as if it's flat, like his feet move as if he's on those stones specifically and goes down each of the little crevices. But obviously, then he transforms, and then you see his hair getting singed, and the particle effects on that are just absolutely insane.
It's crazy. Like, to be honest, I didn't see this part. Like, he's fighting this big wolf. This is insane. Like, it looked really amazing. Yeah,
but like this part as well, he transforms into the guy that he's just beat up. So when you beat someone and you take the weapon, you can then transform into them.
Yeah, it's kind of like you take their power, don't you?
Yeah.
There you go. Looking on the roof getting destroyed. The lighting.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
And this is from a company that's never built a premium, big budget game before.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just saw on Twitter. It's like Phil Spencer, get them. Phil Spencer, buy them. Or get exclusivity or whatever. Because this is going to be I hope if it translates, it's going to be a really good game.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you're saying like
one of these powers is like
people that made this.
Yeah.
The people that made this, they make mobile phone games.
Yeah. They're like to like mobile.
Like look, he's like shaking around with a fire on him.
Really good job. It's crazy. It's really insane.
Like he actually reacts to the fact that he's on fire and tries to put it out.
Yeah, kind of beats it down, kind of thing on his shoulder and whatnot.
You essentially absorb this. When you've got the weapon, you absorb their soul and you take their powers, which is, unbelievable game.
So said in the chat, you absorb their soul.
So you'll see when the
Yeah,
fight
it's-
finishes, he then he puts the weapon away, and then he goes back to being Monkey King again.
But he picks up his staff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's the character right now that he beat it before, huh?
Yeah.
Right, so he's
So
dead
just,
now.
and that's only because there we go. See them particle effects.
Smokes, yeah. Smoke just go.
That is just I've never seen that before.
And this is where
That is just insane. There we go. Like it's one of them games that's really took people by surprise and has just come out of nowhere.
They really did an amazing job on this game. Yeah.
And they're saying it's not their
And
best
I think
work.
it's even getting better.
Yeah, the set is a little rough around the edges.
A little bit
So this
rough.
is like
Yeah.
I was talking about, Sean, if you watch past this part.
Okay.
So this is all part of the game as well. More kind of a thing as to what you can expect. More the size of the bosses you can fight and the styles of the bosses.
Oh my! What? That's crazy. This is really. No, I didn't see this part. No.
No, I can't. I don't think I've seen this part.
Well, I mean that you're literally on top of a giant.
So you can't transform into that.
I mean, look at that.
What?
There's Shenron.
Oh my! That's crazy.
Oh yeah, Dynasty Warriors type
Yeah. The
gameplay.
stick just keeps getting bigger.
Wow.
That is just, I mean, unbelievable, that game for woo.
Yeah.
And that's why
really good.
It's it's up there.
And you're and Sham, are you going to play because you speak Chinese, right?
No. I know tiny bit just for my work.
Oh, with this game you can learn more, right?
I think anybody who plays this game will learn a lot more about Chinese culture, even if it's translated. Again, China is an untapped market when it comes to storytelling for the West. I think there's a lot of inspiration we can get from Chinese mythology and things like that. I mean, Monkey King is probably the most famous that the West will know. I mean, we had the TV show. There's been a load of films based around it. A couple of games like the Odyssey to the West. Is there the Odyssey to the West?
Yeah.
It was Odyssey. That was an amazing game. Love that game. So yeah, I think there's just loads of stories that are out there. My wife, she's learning Chinese. She's half decent at it as well, and she watches a lot of Chinese TV dramas, and a lot of them are kind of the wonderful fancy martial art type ones that are based around mythology. They're like 80 episodes or things like that.
That's pretty cool.
So maybe if this dev knocks this one out of the park, there'll be other mythological ones they can hit.
I mean, the saga that it's built on anyway, it's quite extensive. So it depends on what they've got in the first one. They could quite easily make a series out of it. It's quite, like I say, it's quite an extensive backlog of stories. So,
I mean, it depends if by the end of the game he's reached his destination, or whether it will be a trilogy or something like that.
Yeah, but it really depends on the success of the first game.
Yeah,
primarily. But I mean, judging by the crowd reaction so far, if it looks and plays as good as it looks and plays right now, when it releases, I think everybody be happy.
As long as they don't do a Watch Dogs, I think everybody will be happy.
Yes, indeed. I don't think anybody's really went down that route as bad as Watch Dogs did since then.
Yeah, I think
that's come close, but that was bad.
The Watch Dogs thing was a a Battlefront 2 microtransaction moment where everybody's like, no, we can't do that anymore. We need to stop doing that for the whole industry. From then on, when I say from then on, then Ubisoft did it with The Division as well.
The funny thing is with Watch Dogs, though, and this is what happened for the PC players, is they found all of those higher assets in folders in the game.
Yeah.
They could use, but as soon as they used them, they were absolutely broken. They were like, "There's no one that didn't put this out because the game's broke." Like,
it was just too ambitious. What they showed was too ambitious for what. I bet you could play it now on cards now.
Oh yeah.
But for the time, it's way too ambitious.
100%. Patjeuh, we're getting into one of your first games here now. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, man. Really looking forward to this game.
I mean, I don't need to ask you, but I think I'll ask you anyway for kindness. What is it that's getting you interested about this the most?
Well, like the history of the games, because Assassin's Creed does that, like playing on history of life, and the Vikings is always been interesting. Like you see series on TV and that kind of stuff, but actually getting a game in that time of period, it's amazing. The way it looks, it's awesome. You see some battles and that kind of stuff, and that's really what I like about it. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this game.
And are you going to be getting this on release? It's not too far away.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I know, but I'm not sure if I'm getting it on release. But I'll get it, but probably a little bit later.
We'll see how good you are for Santa. Maybe Santa Dutch gets you it. You never know.
You never know.
I mean, obviously, without a shadow of a doubt, you can probably tell anyway by the beard plait that I've got in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I know.
It's right up my street. Right up my street.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the only thing, of course, other than the fact that they have got the Assassin's Blade in either, I think other than that, it's very. I love the way that they've went down the gory route now. Definitely more thematic. The only way they could really get the Viking Age is to be very gory, have things like dismemberment in the game, which is going to be the first Assassin's Creed where you can chop people's heads off and arms off and legs off and things like that. And it is a little bit gorier. And rightly so, otherwise it wouldn't really work with the Viking era because it was a very bloody, era. A lot of very brutal things, and I don't know whether or not we'll see a lot of their practices in game, such as the Blood Eagle or anything like that. But we can only wait and see. If people don't know what the Blood Eagle is essentially they hack you open from your back, break your rib cage open, peel your rib cage to the side, pull your lungs out whilst you're still alive, and put them over your shoulders so that you're perched like an eagle.
I heard that was a myth, that didn't actually happen.
No, it did. Yep. No, that was one thing that did. Valkyries, they're not so much a myth. They're very much on the front lines of the Berserker. Of course, when you think of Berserker, you think of big raging warriors, and they weren't necessarily big people or very muscly people. Berserkers were actually people who used to take a lot of hallucinogenics and things like that before battle. And they used to be essentially more kind of on the psycho realm, so psychotic, before they went into battle. So they wouldn't feel pain because the nerve endings would be shot. So they'd be classed as a berserker because they could take a lot of damage. They wouldn't feel anything because they would be so high. And people would be scared of them because of that, because they were more like a raging rabid dog than anything else. So they do a lot of damage.
Shot with arrows.
Yeah,
they just carry on.
A lot of arrows that could essentially cause a lot of damage, and and take a long time to go down. Valkyries were essentially along the same lines. They were essentially these, because women at that point were very much, again, proven to be fact. They were shield maiden, obviously fighting women, but they came from the same as the farmhand men. So every Viking was taught to fight regardless. They all knew how to use a shield. They all knew how to use a sword. Shield maiden were essentially women that wanted to be on the front line and take charge. Valkyries were essentially kind of these demigods that they'd kind of come up with. These, again, berserker style women that took a lot of damage and kind of progressed very quickly through the ranks because they were very aggressive. So even though the myth around them, it's more that when stories get passed along Viking eras, especially with Lagertha, if you actually look back into when they spoke about Lagertha in Viking mythology, they were saying that essentially she could fly over the battlefield, which obviously didn't happen, but that she could fly over the battlefield and rain down arrows and things from above and kind of murder people at will. We know that didn't happen. But that's because these people were so famous at the time during war that, again, people like Ragnar, etc., they did X, Y, and Z, and Ivor the Boneless was an actual person, and he was brutal. In fact, he's more brutal in real life than Vikings portrayed him to be. The TV program didn't actually show how bad Ivor was, because Ivor was an absolute tyrant. Like, he was just did not care, and he just eventually settled in England, but even the English didn't like him at all, and he had many wars there. But he was countlessly, he was not liked, and to the point where when Ivor did die, much like William Wallace, chopped him up into bits, made sure he could not be found. There isn't actually an official resting place for Ivor the Boneless. They got rid of him sharpish. They did not want him anywhere near English land. They hated him that much.
That's crazy.
So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing, again, the only game that so far that's done kind of justice to Viking lore is God of War. And if there's ever a game you need to play on PlayStation, it's God of War. Just the way that they talk about the mythology of the Vikings and the different lands and the land of the Viking, the giants, and obviously the giant land snake, as it were, the All-Father and his sons and things like that. The way they've spoke about it correctly and the mythology behind it is the way it should have been done. Again, they've got room, and I hope that they expand on that in God of War 2. I hope they continue with the Viking Norse thing, because there's several more lands that they haven't went to that they could go to. There's plenty more to kind of go down on the Norse realm and God of War that needs to be explored. I'm looking forward to. What's your additional thoughts on it there, Sean? Sean.
Hello?
Hello?
I think it'll be a trilogy.
You think it'll be a trilogy? I think he's got a bit of sound lag.
I think.
I've not really given much thought to it, because I know it's not going to be a game that I'm going to pick up day one. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's got a sound lag.
Got a sound lag today.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's not a game. Shall I leave and come back?
I think it's picking up now.
All right, okay. Yes, it's not really a game I've given too much thought into, because Cyberpunk's out around the same time, and I neither have the cash or the time to be putting too much into one or the other. I still need to finish Odyssey, so I will probably pick it up when it's on sale or something in the new year and see that. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of those old school Assassin's Creed people. I want stories of the Templars and the Assassins going at it to get at each other rather than just having the Assassins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like to return to more of a narrative of the Assassins and the Templar, which I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
You never know.
So that's my thoughts, because I'm not really giving much thought into it.
No, to be fair, it's going to be a tough one for quite a few people. Right at Cyberpunk time.
Other than that, yeah, it looks
very long.
Hopefully, it'll look like it's going to be a better game than they showed.
Yeah. It's 2 very long games. You've got Cyberpunk and Assassin's Creed coming out at the same time. It's just such a tough one. Such a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
I will be playing both, but it's going to be hard juggling them both. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of Cyberpunk could potentially be 100+ hours easy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Witcher 3 was like 200 if you included the DLC.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there's multiple ways you can play it as well. Like we've recently found.
So Cyberpunk now, you've got 3 main characters with 3 different stories.
Yeah.
So that's like 3. Even if it's 100 hours per person, that's 300 hours. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. But again, it's CD Projekt Red. Like, they know how to do things. They know how to do things by off.
And they also know how to give you free upgrades.
Yep. And free content. And when you purchase DLC, that DLC is worthwhile. The 2 expansions for
What are your other games?
Yeah, his second game, his other game, is Black Ops Cold War, another one. So, Patjeuh, Black Ops.
Yeah.
I know we spoke about this before, and obviously their pricing's a bit weird at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
But in terms of the game itself, what is it that's getting you hyped for Cold War?
Just it's been called Black Ops because Call of Duty Black Ops 1 was one of my favorite Call of Duties all time. And I've played Black Ops 2 for a while as well. Well, like from the beginning. It was also a good one. But like actually getting Black Ops back and seeing what they made of this trailer, it's pretty interesting that how it looks. So I'm looking forward to this, especially when they bring Battle Royale to this one. Yeah, that will be pretty nice. So that's what I'm looking for in this game. Yeah.
I think
I hope it's better than 4, because Black Ops 4 was like, that was shit.
Yeah, to put it nicely, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last one was terrible.
It was Black Ops in name only.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, the first. It was the storylines again on the original Modern Warfare and the original Black Ops. That's what people loved them for. The stories, the campaigns, and the multiplayer, of course, is an added benefit. Everybody loves the multiplayer at times. I say at times, not all the time, because sometimes it can be frustrating. I still don't like Warzone. I can't get away with it. I've tried, but I am absolutely no good at Warzone. I think people are bullet sponges on Warzone, and that's one thing I don't like about it. No. Unlike on PUBG and things like that, you shoot someone and they can go down. On on Warzone, you can shoot people 20, 30 times, and because they've got 4 layers of armor on, they're not going anywhere. You're like, oh god! But then they come at you and they shoot once, and that you're down. You're done for.
Yeah, first you need to break their armor to get them down.
Yeah,
it's not my game as well.
But we'll see. I'm going to be one of those that waits until people have played the game first, see what their impressions is, and then debate on picking it up potentially on sale. I'll probably not be buying it straight away. But I'll probably get it at some point We'll see what it's like. We'll see what the campaign's like, because that's the only reason I'd really be playing it for.
Yeah.
Me too.
Lastly, you've chosen a game that hasn't officially been announced, Patjeuh.
I know.
Inside knowledge.
Yeah, but we're going to be putting on a fan-made trailer for you anyway. So, so we're talking about Forza Horizon 5.
This is 5, yeah. Because you know what of this trailer is like, when they actually what they're saying is like it's going to be in America, you know, and it could be in America, you know. It's not even a bad idea, like even if it's a fan-made trailer. It's really interesting, you know, like America is really big, so it's pretty awesome if they if they do that. But
the first one was Colorado.
I know a lot of people are Japan.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. So I don't know what to expect.
I think they'll actually go into the Japan scene with it. I think they'll go into Japan.
Yeah. I think also that they will do Japan, because a lot of people, it's already since like Forza Horizon 3, people already saying like they want Japan.
It opens up the underground scene as well that Japan's quite famous for.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially if you've got to think how good Forza Horizon 4 looks right now, how much better it's going to look on the Series X. Built specifically for the Series X. It's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's going to be stunning.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is.
Ray tracing implemented up to 120 frames.
Horizon 4 for open world is amazing looking.
I just can't wait to see what it looks like and how it looks. It's just going to be insane.
Pretty nice if they, exactly.
I want them to really make the expansions for Horizon 5 a little bit better. Lego was all right. Fortune Island was good but small. I really want them, if they're going to expand, I want them to expand the main map as opposed to expand into separate sections. I want them to just expand the main area. I think personally for me that would be better than having a separate area altogether. Just expand the main map itself.
Yeah, exactly.
What have we got on next? Let's have a look. The next on our list. Of course. So, Cyberpunk.
I thought you said we couldn't have Cyberpunk.
That is the final one. We're going into the tail ends here. So we're talking about, this is more as a conglomerate decision. So this is one that everybody's looking forward to.
Yeah, you're insane if you're not.
Yeah, this is one that everybody's highly anticipated across the board. So this is actually kind of in-game footage, a little bit longer this time, so we can actually have a good conversation about it. But I think if this isn't on everybody's list for most anticipated, it would be absolutely insane. Like, there's so much to choose from, so many different areas, so much to it. If you want to be Blade Runner and kind of do all the technical detective work, you can be Blade Runner and do that. It's there's different factions, different laws to each faction, different bosses, different people you meet in each one, all the different upgrades to the characters you've got, all the different customization you've got, the cars, the equipment, the stories. I think it's just infinite amounts of kind of replayability and kind of potential you've got to this game. I'm looking forward to it just because Witcher 3 was absolutely like a stunning game, but also the work, the sheer work and detail that CD Projekt Red put into Witcher. I've got full confidence that they'll create something ridiculous on this one as well.
And how long they've been making it for.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking a long time. I mean, when was the original trailer? It was something like 2008 or something, wasn't it?
It was pre-Xbox One.
2013.
Oh, so it might have been just before the Xbox One then, or just after. I'm pretty sure that it was like before, because they were on about it won't be coming out this gen.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
7 years. But then again, when they did announce it, they said it's still in concept, so it wasn't actually being made. They were still ironing out, but they said this is what the game was going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what are you looking
I don't know
for?
if it. What?
Yeah. Go on.
What I like with when I see this game, it's like a mixture between GTA and what's the other?
GoesseN?
Oh man, I forgot. No, with the Terry Crews as character. What's the name? I forgot the name.
Crackdown.
Yeah, Crackdown. Like it's a mixture between those two games. That's what I have when I see this. You know, like it has like the futuristic stuff, and also like the roaming around the map and stuff. But
yeah,
it's
going to be
definitely a good game.
Blocking off of the city, so it's not going to be one of those. Oh, get to this point and unlock this tower, so you can unlock the map over here. I'm guessing you can pretty much drive wherever you want.
Yeah. I mean, that was exactly the same in Witcher. The only problem you had is, of course, certain areas, the rank of
enemy level
whoever was there was much higher. So yes, you can go there, but we don't recommend it because you'll get your ass kicked. It'll be one of them type of things.
But I'm guessing if you're just cruising around in a car.
Oh yeah, you should be all right. Because it's a different type of world. It's not like the other one. I mean, you probably, if you go into a back alley or something like that in certain areas, because they have said there's rough areas.
Didn't they say the night and day are completely two different experiences as well?
Oh yeah.
The city in the night and city in the day.
Yeah. It's going to be. I mean, I just can't. Patjeuh, first of all, Patjeuh, what are you most looking forward to for Cyberpunk when you play it? What is it about that game that kind of interests you the most?
I don't know. What really interests me is like the environment, like how everything looks. You know, I like to when I start a game like this, just go free roaming and just look around. That's most of the thing I was beginning. I don't know. That's
yeah.
It looks really good.
As soon as you get to the open world, go and walk around and see what's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just drive around, walk around. You know, like I think that's the first thing I will do in this game.
After the 3 hours of creating your character.
Oh God, I'm going to be spending a lot of time creating.
Oh no, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's going to take me a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that dude so true to life. It's going to be unreal. I am going to be in Cyberpunk. I'll make sure that happens. What are you looking forward to the most about it, Sean? Specifically, what is it like that intrigues you the most about it?
I think it's like the whole cyberpunk aesthetic of it all. You know, your big neon lights. I think on a good TV with HDR is going to just look absolutely amazing. I wish I had an OLED, but I don't. But I think I'm going to be jealous of people who get to experience this in OLED. But yeah, just walking around, driving around and seeing the city, seeing what they can create. I don't know too much about the story, and I certainly don't know anything about the original tabletop type game.
Have you watched any of the Nightwire?
I've watched a little bit, not too much, because I'm kind of trying to avoid too many spoilers.
Right. I would say if you want a kind of a slight heads up, watch the second one. It doesn't give you too many spoilers, but it introduces each faction and where you start from. So you kind of get a rough idea potentially beforehand as to which route you might want to go down to start your game.
Yeah.
Start in different locations with different people on each one. So you can kind of say, that one looks most interesting to me. I want to start from there. Instead of going into the game kind of not really knowing which path you might want to choose.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, it's the whole kind of the cyberpunk, the Blade Runner-esque type world. This is a dystopian future. I think it's fascinating a lot of people. So yeah, just seeing what they can create, and especially like you said before, the fact it's the Witcher 3 devs gives me complete trust in their abilities. I mean, look at this scene. How nice would this look on a good TV, HDR?
I know.
So yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be a bucket load of secret areas and just going up the tracks. Yeah, just going up the track. What you can find, the people you can speak to, the stories you can hear. If there's anything to go by The Witcher, then it's going to be amazing. It's going to be game of the generation if it lives up to what people expect it to be. I mean, it's knocking God of War off that spot is going to be a tough act, but I think they'll do it. I think they will.
I certainly think they will as well. I think it's far too much anticipation on it to not. I mean, it is literally on everybody's top 10 lists of, if not top 3 lists of games that they're looking forward to.
And I think there's people like Paris Lilly who is just completely advocating for this game, and he's the kind of person that if it didn't do something, he'd point it out. He's not suckered in too much, if you know what I mean. He's not what would the word be? He's not a big fanboy enough that he would hide over the cracks. If he was like, hang on a minute, that doesn't look right.
But even saying that, I mean, people like to speak about you can't possibly be a fanboy about a game that's on all platforms. Like everyone,
you could be a COD fanboy, and overlook any issues with COD. But he's the kind of person that if there was something he was like, now that looks a bit dodgy, he would say it. He wouldn't kind of ignore it and hammering home the good points. I mean, at the moment, if you look at the guy on Twitter, he's getting slammed as being an Xbox fanboy, but people forget that at the beginning of the generation, he sold his Xbox because he said, like, well, it'd be better for me to get a PC.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bit of testament to his character, and I kind of trust him a little bit because of that.
Yeah, if he wants to get I mean, I was pricing up looking at getting an actual game and PC and stuff myself, and the specs that I want, I'm already going into like 2,500. So it's not. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait off a little bit. I'm not going to jump into the 3000 series graphics card straight away. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until the 3000s are out, and then be getting a cheaper version of a 2000 series. When all the stuff's come down a bit in price, because they're going to still be very good in ray tracing and things like that going in the future. So stick with 2000 series sorted.
And you'll have real life performance of it. People will have this game running on those cards. Yeah. So you know exactly what you're going to get.
Exactly. And I know, I mean, this game can run on an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4, which is insane in itself. I'm still going to be waiting. I'm still going to be waiting off until. I mean, I don't know how long after launch we're going to get those Series X and PlayStation 5 patches. Hopefully not long.
I reckon the OG X.
Fingers crossed, it's not long.
Early 21, I reckon. March, April.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's just at Christmas, like December time.
Hopefully, it's for. It'd be nice if it was for launch, because they did say it wasn't going to be at launch at first, but it has been put back. So maybe they can pump it out.
Yeah, maybe they've delayed it for that.
Yeah, because they said they wanted to polish it a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, God, we haven't even seen this thing with ray tracing. Imagine what you put ray tracing in there as well. It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those games. It's gonna be a crisis game. Can your rig run this?
Well, Flight Sim's that at the moment.
Yeah.
But anybody that knows Flight Sims, that they do it every time they release one, it's always future proofed. Like the game can barely run on anything when it first releases. Like it is that far ahead advanced. But it's built so that further down the line, the game becomes runnable on everybody's machine because everybody by that point has upgraded it, and by then all of the different modifications are there, all the different planes, all the plane skins, everything's been emphasized a bit more, and then it can run. Whereas on Crisis, that just didn't run. That took an absolutely ridiculous level PC to get that thing to work, and now that thing works on a Switch.
Yeah, with almost ray tracing.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Speaking of Crisis, whilst we're on that topic, which I brought up before, another unbelievable one that's come out in terms of news was Crisis Remastered coming to Xbox One X, PlayStation 4 Pro, will have software-based ray tracing in it on current gen.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how well that runs or doesn't, as the case may be.
I mean, it's not the full-baked one. Obviously, we know hardware-based ray tracing is real-time ray tracing. Software-based is very much the scaled version, as you've seen in GT7's trailer, where it was the checkerboarded version, where the game itself was running in 4K, but the ray traced elements were actually 1080p or lower. So I'm thinking if it's going to have ray traced elements on software base for Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro, that it'll be very much a checkerboarded version of those elements. So probably quarter pixel count, if not maybe a little bit lower.
What does the PS5 have in terms of ray tracing? Is it software or hardware?
It's a mixture. Difference between PlayStation 5 and Series X is Series X has dedicated separate cores for ray tracing. So they've got cores that don't interfere with the main 8 cores that are built into the GPU as standard for Series X. They've got separate cores to handle ray tracing. PlayStation 5, however, doesn't. So even though it can handle ray tracing, it's a lot more, which is why they've really pumped on this Lumens technology for Unreal Engine 5.
Right.
It's a lot more cost effective. It's a lot more cost prohibitive to them to do hardware accelerated ray tracing. It's not that it can't do it. It's that they would have to. It would be at the detriment of other factors of the game.
So it might either affect the frame rate, the resolution, or it would just be a lesser version of the ray tracing.
Yeah. So they can do it. It just affects performance more than it would on Xbox, because Xbox have a separate dedicated core for ray tracing, or dedicated cores. So it's not going to be specific amounts, but it means essentially, and it has been touched on it, and people hate talking about teraflops. But Series X, 12 teraflop on the normal teraflop.
I had a teraflop earlier.
Teraflops. 12 teraflops. 12 teraflops on the Series X. But the RT cores push it to about 24 if you're actually going into full real-time kind of capabilities. But that's not a realistic thing. They're not saying we have 24 teraflops to use. What they're saying is if you're including those ray tracing cores, which are specifically there only for ray tracing, not for any other.
It can't be switched out for something else. Yeah.
Not for anything else other than for ray tracing are those cores there. So it's not for used for any other utilization. So they're not. We can't include those in those figures because that's not what they're there for. They are there only for ray tracing and nothing else. Which is one of the benefits Xbox has and why they're pushing this. Yeah, we can do real-time ray tracing because we have specific cores in the Series X for that. PlayStation have just essentially got hardware-based and software-based ray tracing, but on the already built-in cores on their GPU. So it's not as cost-effective as it would be on the Series X.
I wonder what the sound like's going to be on these games as well. Next-gen sound.
I mean, you've already got. This is the thing with Xbox. They've already been proactive with Dolby Atmos and Windows Sonic.
They've also got DTS on there now.
They do, yeah, DTS. And they had DTS before, but it wasn't well utilized, and it was really a pain in the arse to set up. I use DTS on my soundbar. It's really good, but I'd still prefer to have. It's lossless format, which is always the best thing to have. You want lossless, but it's not 3D audio. That's the only thing with DTS.
Would you need to upgrade your headset then? I know they said it's backwards compatible. I could use this on the thing, but would I get a better experience buying a new headset?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Next, if we go, just going to skip out of Cyberpunk. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is an open world thing. Looks like Mad Max.
Oh, these are the. I've heard a little bit of the factions. This is the Dingy faction. The what are they called? Like the people on the outside. Yeah.
I've forgotten the faction names as well. To be fair, do you have a clue what they are, Patjeuh? Do you know what they are?
No, I have no idea.
Nope. We've all forgot. Let's have a look. Have a quick look. Cyberpunk faction.
Voodoo Boys, Tiger Crew. Oh no, these are the gangs. This isn't the actual factions. This is where you need someone like Alana Pierce on the show.
God, I know.
Spout them out.
Why is it so hard to find them?
Yeah, I could see. I can find like the in-game ones, like mocks, the animals, and people that are in-game, but not the ones you can actually choose.
Very odd. But anyway, you've got one of them's Corpos, which is like a corporate faction. You've got a group that essentially start out in the desert or the wastelands. And then you've got another lot that are kind of city-based, not corporal. The more gangs, like city gangs. So it's kind of those three options to go for. I'll be the one that starts out in the desert, more the kind of the racers and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll end up doing.
Of course, it depends on how much time I've got in my hands. I'll be trying to check out the rest of them as well, but it's going to take a while to complete the first playthrough, let alone 3.
Oh, here we go. Nomad, Street Kid, and Corpo.
Yes, Nomad's the one I'll be.
Yeah, I think the same.
What are you going to be, Patjeuh? Are you going to be Street Kid, Nomad, or Corporal?
Street. I'm going for Street.
Street Kid.
Always. Yeah, I always been a Street Kid in my younger days, so why not?
You're going to stick with that. You're going to be a Street Kid on the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Next is a bit of a different one. Ratchet and Clank.
Not played it with them.
It's again one that it's highly improved. The first one I've just started playing it, and it's a really fun and easy game to play. I don't mean just easy in terms of easy to beat, but a game that you can pick up, play, and not kind of stress too much about. You don't have to think about things too much. You can just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good game for that. The levels are really easily laid out. So you go to a level, it's got a couple of objectives. You complete the objectives, that's that level done. You don't go back to it. Then you have to go to another planet and then travel to that planet. You've a few more objectives, go through the story a bit more. Complete the objectives, that's that planet done. Next one, you keep going through like that, and it's quite easy. So they're like stages. I don't know how they're going to do that on this one, because obviously you're floating in between dimensions on this one. But for what I've played of the first one, it's went up a little bit more in my kind of anticipated list from playing the first one now, because the first one was quite fun. But certainly, it's a very pretty game, cartoony game, but very pretty game anyway to play. And I would be very interested to see what they do with it and what characters they bring into it. different game modes. Like you had racing and everything on the first one, like hoverboard racing, kind of obstacle courses and things you had to do, different shooting games, different puzzles and things like that. You could upgrade all the weapons. You can upgrade your the characters. You can add different costumes and skins to the characters, but those costumes and skins were unlocked during gameplay and for doing certain things, but they wouldn't tell you what it was. So it was more like a hidden quest to try and do certain things to unlock costumes and upgrades. So it adds a little bit more to the game.
Find out more tomorrow, I guess.
We shall.
What time
Indeed.
does it start, the Gamescom?
9 p.m.
The
9 p.m. Central Europe, 8 p.m. GMT.
All right.
It's meant to be 2 hours long. 2 hours.
I hope we get a prize.
Yeah.
They better.
Yeah.
They better
Oh, back
give a prize.
It's getting ridiculous.
What other games? Let's have a think. Is there any other games that have kind of that you're interested in that you might not be on your most anticipated list, but maybe anticipated nonetheless?
I originally said Resident Evil 8.
Resident Evil 8.
I didn't think I'd like it to begin with. I was always late to the series. When it first came out on the PlayStation, my brother loved it, and it scared the crap out of me.
Right.
So I was never really. It's only in recent years I've really actually got into the horror genre. Really from like Dead Space.
Oh God, yeah. If there's one game I'd want brought back to life, it would be Dead Space.
Oh, next gen Dead Space. Can you imagine?
I know.
With Unreal 5.
Well, even I tell you what, mind if Xbox managed to get the ability to even give that a lovely juicy Series X patch, 4K HDR. I mean, adding HDR to Dead Space would transform that game.
Honestly, I maxed it out not long ago, and it still looks pretty good. Let's have a look. Dead Space. Did I finish it? I'm pretty sure I completed it on the Nightmare difficulty.
Yeah.
And it's still, I mean, it had some like awful jaggies. Because it's essentially a 360 game.
Yeah.
But it's still a decent looking game, especially for its time. Yeah, I did finish it.
No,
1,000. I'll tell you what, you can pick it up cheap. You can pick it up really cheap. It's a really good horror game if you like that. It is an amazing horror game.
I mean, if you've got EA access, you can get Dead Space 1, 2, and 3 on that.
Yeah. Which was annoying because I bought the 3 of them, and then about a month later they announced that they were all coming out of EA access.
Yeah, on the vault.
Oh, I got Dead Space 2 on it. Dead Space 2 is on my hard drive. So.
Dead Space 2 is a good game as well. I'd still say it goes 1, 2, 3 in terms of my favourite.
Yeah.
3 it's a good game, but it's more they went down the casual action-based co-op path. So a lot of the time it wasn't that scary if you were playing in co-op because you always had your mate to back you up. You know, if you started getting attacked, you've got your mate to start shooting. Whereas on the first 2, you're on your own, and some of you dying can be brutal, like ripped apart, or your insides exploding, or it's a very graphic game.
Yeah. I think honorable mention for me. State of Decay 3.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do with this game.
I think they'll change the art style.
I think they'll change the gameplay itself. I don't think it'll be
how the other two are.
Still have co-op elements, but I don't think it'll be the survival version that you used to with 1 and 2.
Possibly. I wonder whether
they
it's
might even have that as a separate game mode.
I think they might, because it seems like they're pushing for the whole connected world type thing. That's what I thought they were going to do with the co-op with the second one.
Yeah. I don't know. This one just gives me vibes of it going down an entirely different route. Like, it doesn't seem like if you have a look at the original trailer for State of Decay 2, it was completely different. Like, absolutely different, completely different to this. Like, State of Decay 2 was really showing off zombie hordes, but also like everybody getting murdered and like several people on screen at one time and things like that. Whereas this is solely focused on one person.
And animals instead of zombies, as in humanoid zombies.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. I hope it is more of a kind of a based on one person, you surviving and things like that, and then having a separate game mode for. Well, look at that. We're even advertised on there. Woohoo! We're falling into the recommended list on there. But yeah, even looking forward to seeing if they're going down the route of one person having a separate game mode for kind of a State of Decay 2 route where it's survival based and you're building up the location and things like that. I kind of hope it goes down the route of focusing on one person having a story towards it.
Yeah. Oh, that's an honourable mention. Bottom right.
Stalker 2.
This is like the granddaddy of Metro series.
Yeah. Yeah, where Metro began, essentially.
When you asked me what my favourite gaming franchise was, it was between Metro and Splinter Cell.
Oh, really?
I love the Metro.
Metro would have been a good one to do.
Yeah.
How did you find Metro Exodus then?
Actually, I've not finished it. It was one of those, I love the game.
It's a great game.
But it's a big game and other things came out and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll try this and then I'll come back. And then I didn't. But I do that with a lot of games.
Yes. We all do that. We all do that.
But
I mean, the fact that I went between 4 games last night on stream kind of speaks volumes to my eclectic mix. And none of them were in the same genre. I had a racing game, a football game, a shooter, and what else? Oh, 2 shooters, but one of them was completely different. So like a Gears of War kind of mashup shooter, and then PUBG, which is like a realistic kind of battle royale, pick up your weapons, fight to the death.
Well, as I've got all the achievements for the 2 Redux games. I've got all the achievements for the original one and most of the achievements for Last Light on the 360. Yeah. I will come through and I'll get the achievements for Exodus along with all the DLC.
Yeah, I need to go back and play the first 2 for 2033 and
Last Light.
Last Light, yeah.
They're still looking games.
Oh, really good. I bought them just before Exodus come out to go through them again because I used to have them on PC ages ago. And
they're dirt cheap as well. For ages, you could pick the Redux up for like a $5. So that's two games, 2 quality games for a $5.
Yeah. Patjeuh, I know one game that you'll be wanting to see get a lovely Series X boost when I can get out of this.
And what could they do to this?
PUBG.
Is it going to get? Is it going to get a Series X boost?
I'd imagine so.
I can't really see what they'll do other than frame rate.
60 FPS. That would be nice.
Yeah, 120 FPS.
Yeah.
They have HDR in it, but they probably could make it a bit better. They could probably add ray tracing into it. To be fair, it depends on how well they can get it to run.
I was going to say, it's not the most reliable engine, is it?
No. I mean, they've definitely improved on it because that game runs well now. Like, if there's one thing I can say about the game is the game itself doesn't stutter, doesn't really lag. You don't have the issues we had when that game first launched. There was so many issues on that game.
It was awful, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like potato houses and things made of Play-Doh.
Well, I had the OG Xbox when it first came out. when the game first came out, and I was falling through the floor because the assets weren't loading quick enough.
Yeah.
And I was falling to my death, or I was getting stuck in a house in a wall, or in a
stuck under the staircase.
or in a chest of drawers or something. Yeah. It was like Play-Doh, and I kind of tried to use it to my advantage because I could see through walls, and I'd be like, right, get that going before everything loads up. Sometimes I'd do it. Sometimes I'd be part of the wall.
That's the thing. Like, even you'd come across people that had been stuck or like melted into the walls, and they'd just given up.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. See you later.
It was one time I was on a hill, and I tried there was a rock in front of me, and I could see somebody head at the edge of the rock, so I tried to go onto the rock to look down, and I just walked on and fell through the rock to my death.
Yeah.
But today they will bring out a new update for season 8.2 with the new gun, the MG3 machine gun.
Yeah.
And also what you see in this clip is like there's they made a backpack that will like how you say it? That will not damage you when you are outside the circle. Like it's a blue zone backpack or something like that.
Oh right, okay. So it's like a protective backpack, so you can stay in the blue zone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to get abused, is it?
Well, I hope not, man.
How is that going to work? Because you could just hide at the other end of the map and wait for the other team to die.
I
can imagine it reduce damage.
What? Yeah.
Well, maybe it just kind of mitigates the damage you take when you've got it on.
Yeah, I think also, Didn't see anything yet about it, but.
Oh, I know which game we've missed out. God, what's it called again? That
Oh, Bright Memory, yeah.
I mean that's another talking about Chinese studios.
That's it out of the
Chinese indie studios making unbelievably gorgeous games. That's two in the space of a few months from small development studios in China making unbelievable games.
I was going to say, the only one Chinese studio I knew before these was the one that made, was it Candleman?
Yeah. I mean, look at the quality of this. This is one guy and a few people helping with outsourced elements.
In the beginning, at first I thought it was like Titanfall because of the weapon he's using.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But then I saw this, I was like, oh, it's a whole different game.
And then it kind of reminded us this is very much Bulletstorm.
Yeah, it looks like Titanfall, Bulletstorm, and the what is it, Shadow Warrior?
Yes, yeah. But the quality on this is just absolutely outstanding. And if you even go to have a look at his like developers' website or whatever it is, his YouTube channel, it's just full of different like gameplay trailers and things that he's released and
his concepts and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he's even released a more up-to-date one recently. China, it was like on the Bright Memory Infinite.
I actually think this game did the original Xbox show damage because it showed this that everybody was like, "Oh my goodness," and then the rest were like, "Meh."
There was one not too long ago, and I don't know. There we go. The more up-to-date trailer for this game, if you haven't seen it already. It was at, I don't know whether or not it was GDC or something, it's one of the Chinese conferences.
All right, yeah.
But again, one guy.
I was going to say that first bit doesn't look that impressive in terms of the character model, but it's when it actually gets into the game.
Yeah. So I mean, to be fair, that again, it depends on their vision, because the Chinese have either go very, very, very anime with their characters.
Yeah, art styles, don't they?
Yeah. Big bright eyes, white eyes, things like that.
No.
Oh, that's good.
I just don't even know what's going on here. It's just completely mental.
But yeah, I mean, what's everyone hoping for, should we say? I'll stop that. What's everyone hoping for Gamescom this week?
I forgot it was on, to be honest with you, just because everything's cancelled. I think the obvious one is I want to know what the prices of the 2 boxes are going to be.
Yeah.
And release dates. I think that's the most important thing now. I mean, it's what
I think this month, latest going into next month, we will find out. I don't think they'll leave it any longer.
They're going to have to. I mean, it's September on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's meant to come out in like a couple of months' time.
September, October, November. That's what, 2.5 potentially months. We can't even pre-order yet.
Yeah.
They're gonna give the price tomorrow. I'm sure about that. They need to. Like Sean says, 2.5 months.
Yeah, well, games comes from tomorrow until the 29th, which is it 29th or 28th? 29th. So
Sunday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday going into Sunday. So between now and Sunday, we should know, fingers crossed, from both sides what the price is.
Well, if PlayStation have a 2-hour event tomorrow.
Oh, do they?
I thought that's what you said.
No, that's the opening night live with Jeff Keighley.
Okay. Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
That
kicks off Gamescom. So he's doing kind of an opening show with 38 games. So going to be some that we haven't seen, but a lot of them there where we know the games exist that they'll be looking at more.
38 games that'll be multi-plat that will go available on PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Yes. Completely. Yeah, what we can do really is we'll hope for over the next couple of days. We don't know which day Xbox are going to be doing whatever they want because they haven't said anything. They literally have said nothing yet. It's a bit of a strange one. They haven't mentioned it.
Yeah, to even say.
But we know that because Gamescom have said we're going to be here.
I think they're just waiting for PlayStation because they know PlayStation are going to be there. And they go, oh yeah, as is tomorrow, guys.
I completely forgot about that. When's that coming out? Have any of you played the Dark Pictures game on Man of Medan yet? That's on Game Pass.
No, I was going to start today, but then didn't have time.
Yeah, highly recommend it. Really good. The next one in the series, Little Hope, comes out on the 30th of October.
Okay. I thought that was the third one. I thought they already had 2 out.
No, that's the next one in it. Dark Pictures Anthology. So Man of Medan, they've already announced it, but they hadn't kind of said the release date. Yeah. $30, so like 25 quid.
Little Hope. Okay, that's quite cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that because Man of Medan was really good, and they're actually Man of Medan's actually based on a real mystery.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about a Dutch boat, isn't it?
Yeah, a Dutch cargo ship that went missing. Turned out that the ship wasn't actually called it wasn't called the Man of Medan anyway. It was something like the Ura Medan. but that wasn't even its actual sailing name. That was just what they'd done to kind of avoid shipping lanes and things like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Oh, wait. Xbox are going to be right. Okay, so they have put something on Twitter, but I couldn't remember seeing this. I don't know whether or not this is going to be. I hope that's not Jeff Keighley's thing that they're linking to. 2 seconds. YouTube. Yes, it is. Right. So Xbox have already tweeted out that as well. They're going to obviously have some games and announcements during opening night live tomorrow.
Okay.
Make sure to tune in to this year's All Digital Gamescom, Thursday, August 27th. And then the link to that is Jeff Keighley's show. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully over the next couple of days there'll be a bit more to it as well.
Let's hope so.
I want to be able to trust the bloke with what he says, but unfortunately, from what he's been doing, and what he said the other day as well was very underhanded. When he mentioned, I'm guessing you might have seen it on Twitter, what Jeff Keighley said the other day about PlayStation and Xbox. Said Xbox Game Pass was essentially basic cable and PlayStation was HBO Premium. I mean, if that doesn't shout like being biased towards a platform, I don't know what is. Have a bias, but when you're actually reporting to the general public, you can't let that bias creep in.
No.
Lost sound, Sean. Can't hear you. There we go.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. He's being, especially like in the one for the Xbox conference, he's being paid by Xbox, and he had people on there who don't have a clue what Xbox is doing.
Nope.
And it's just like one person even going, "Yeah, I'm going to go to the toilet during the Halo thing." It's an Xbox thing, and you're going on about going to the toilet. It's your toilet break.
Yeah.
If I was Xbox, I'd be livid with him. Be
100%. I'd be furious.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope. Obviously, Gamescom is all digital this year, and it's from the 27th, which is tomorrow, until the 29th. So I hope over the next coming days, it's going to be a bit more from Xbox as well as PlayStation, and it's not just boiled down to opening night live.
But the guy's ego is just out of this world. It's just so big.
I mean, again, he might have started off all well and good a couple of years ago, trying to kind of create this thing around gaming, and he's essentially initially he's done a good thing by the gaming community, but over the recent couple of years, he's really let his personal relationships with Sony get in the way of.
He wants to control gaming. He wants to see E3 go so that he can have his own thing.
His own show.
Yeah, he wants everything to do with gaming in the digital space to be the Jeff Keighley show.
Yeah. That's just, again, it's very unfortunate to be in that position. But I'm just hoping to see more. Again, everyone want now, and this goes for PlayStation and Xbox, everybody's like, right, we haven't seen enough games on either yet. We understand that, but at this point, we don't even know how much we're paying for these consoles, when it is that they're actually releasing, what it is we're getting, like what bundles we're getting at launch. No one's even mentioned like what launch bundles are you doing. Like we have no knowledge of what it is, when it is, or how much it is that we're getting. We know what they look like, and that's about it.
Yeah.
It's
I can imagine Xbox.
E3's always been the point where there's your release date, there's your price.
Well, hopefully, whenever E3 can come back, I hope it does, because everybody was kind of going, "Oh, it needs to die. It's this, that, and the other," and this whole thing is a shit show. Really, this whole digital thing, leaking a bit of information here, having to wait 4 weeks to get something else. It's just like, no, give it me all now. Give it all in a week. Just if you decide to do an all digital event again, just be every conference in a week.
Yeah. I want E3 to come back. I want Gamescom to come back physically as well, because I want to go to both of them and hang with you guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting watching live streams all the time, every time, for these conferences. I'd rather be able to go and meet the people that I game with and enjoy Gamescom with the people that I game with.
I want to line up for 3 hours to play a 5-minute demo. Damn it!
Yes, I want to do that. I mean, X019 was good. It wasn't as crowded as I thought it was going to be, and that was really the first proper event I've been to as well. So
yeah,
but I know from Erwin telling me Gamescom's ridiculous. There's like hundreds of thousands of people at Gamescom.
It's so much bigger than E3.
Yeah. Whereas E3 is a bit different. The problem with E3 is that it's halfway across the world, and the cost of getting there.
In LA, one of the most expensive cities in the world. Yeah.
That's the drawback for that one. But again, nowhere near as crowded as Gamescom. Gamescom's not as crowded. So I have to wait and see. But I think we've covered what we can cover for tonight. It's been a good 2 hours. We've covered most anticipated, and we've covered the week's news, including talking about kind of touching on the Fortnite subject, their issue with Apple. We've talked about the new game, Black Myth, Wukong, of course, which everybody's interested about. Had a little deep dive into that one. Talked about COD's decision to price higher for next gen as they do current gen, and force people essentially to pay for the more expensive version if they want an upgrade. And then going into anticipated list. What was that?
Martha is dead.
Yes, Martha is dead. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, covering the decision to originally start on PlayStation 5 and now not be on PlayStation 5 and be on Xbox only, which is strange in itself.
What if that's building any bridges?
Yeah. Something's went on there that we don't know much about. But I'm sure we'll find out at some point in the future.
We're going to see.
Yeah. But if anybody who's late to the stream, thanks for coming along. Sorry that you kind of missed it. But you'll be available to watch it straight after and of course, pick up on those topics and see what we're talking about. But we hope everybody who has come along to the stream has enjoyed it, and we'll have the full gang back again next week. The week after, Chris Grinnell will be on again. Unfortunately, that's 2 people in 1 week have been ill and been unfortunately unable to be on here. We had Erwin, of course, very last minute, pulling out the show tonight. And Chris, unfortunately, dropped out last night, but he's mentioned it for a few days there. He's been under the weather, but he's been very busy with work and things like that. So I think he's run himself under the table. So we've set himself up for episode 8. So make sure you jump in for episode 8 to catch the episode with Chris there, who's the ex-Sony dev, worked on games such as Killzone 2 to be precise, F1 and Wipeout. So we'll be asking him a few questions, mainly around kind of how he sees current gen, what it's like working on PlayStation, and their dev kits and things like that, and the differences he can spot going into the next gen and his thoughts on it. And many more questions, no doubt. It's very hard to speak to Sony guys these days. They're not very upfront in comparison to the Xbox guys. A little bit of tidbit news for the end of this podcast I'd like to say as well. Our guys already know, but after the show last week with Gabby, otherwise known as Sweet and Mika, she's going to become a more regular part of the panel. The next time we have Gabby on, it'll be potentially once a month. And we're going to be doing more of a technical breakdown of the devices that she's helped create. So we'll have more on that when it comes to it and when we have an exact date when she's on next. But I hope you look forward to that as well. I'm also still looking for another community spotlight member for this Saturday because I still don't have one and I haven't had anybody suggest anybody yet. So I need anybody to give me ideas. Go, Patjeuh. Patjeuh's idea.
Yeah.
Who should I go on this weekend?
Why don't you see if you can ask the twins from America? Because they are huge Xbox fans, and recently they're also playing on PlayStation. But they know a lot, so maybe you can ask them. I already asked them to join one of the podcasts. They were interested about it, but actually giving them the community spotlight, that would be nice. So trying to contact them, and then who knows?
Sweet. Again, for everybody, I'll put the feelers out and speak to the twins, see if they'll be fancy coming on this Saturday. But again, in future, every fortnight I do a community spotlight. So please get your suggestions in. Drop me an inbox. Drop me an inbox on my Twitter, and I'll be certain to kind of ask the people, see whether or not they're interested or can spare the time to come on to a community spotlight, or whether or not they have the ability to. But I hope you look forward to that. It's 5 p.m. On Saturdays, as usual. Every Saturday, well, not every Saturday, once a fortnight, every Saturday. You'll be able to see the community spotlight with a singular member of that community talking about gaming, what got them into gaming, their thoughts, their feels on kind of going to the next gen, their preferred platforms and what they liked about that platform specifically. But really just kind of getting to know the community. So if you get any suggestions, please drop them by. We'll get the feelers out. We'll get the community together and get to know each other a little bit more. Be good to see that. Be good to see. I'll get the see if I can get the twins on for you, Patjeuh.
That would be nice.
See how they react. Brilliant. Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. It's been a good one. Again, like I say, we've covered quite a few topics again, including our most anticipated lists. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody in chat for coming along there, even the latecomers. If you have missed on it, don't worry about it. You can catch up afterwards. YouTube's fixed their slow processing speeds, so it should be on within the next couple of hours. So thank you very much again for coming along, and we shall see you again both on Saturday and next week, same time. So I'll see you later. Thank you again, everybody.